CSL. So happy to be with you today. It's a beautiful day here in Boise. We've got a guest speaker that's going to knock your socks off today and a guest singer that's going to knock our socks off today. So put your hands together for Miss Pamela Demarsh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great to be here. We have a beautiful morning. Yes.
Will astound you. The glow of your being outshines every star. You feel power, every mountain, sea and shore. You can hear from far and near a world you never heard before. On that clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever. You know me, love him, Rex Miller on piano, yeah. Our faithful musical director. Let's hear your Ted McClurg on bass. Wonderful Phil Bowden on drums too. Yeah. This year's for Phil. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On that clear day, how it will astound you. The glow of your being outshines every star. You feel power, every mountain, sea and shore. You'll hear from far and near, a word you never heard before. On that clear day, on that clear day, you can feel forever and ever and ever. On a clear day.
Yes, you can keep that clap going. So let's give her another round of applause. Woo! You know, she's not just, a pretty face and someone who sings in the shower. She does this for real. She's a real musician. So hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Donna Sheedy. I am practitioner here at CSL. And I want to welcome everyone here that's in the sanctuary and everyone that's watching live on YouTube and Facebook later. We're so glad you guys are all here. And this is the last Sunday that Reverend Jackie will be taken off. You might see her floating through the sanctuary, but she will be back live next week. So let's start off this service with introducing the best music in all of the Treasure Valley. And today is a special, special day, but this is all led by our fabulous leader, musical director, and keyboardist, Rex Miller. Woo! Da, da, da. And then on this side, let's see, am I blocking you? All right. We have our drummer, Phil Bowden. Woo! And our bassist, Ted McClurg. Woo! Woo! Yes, best music in Treasure Valley, and you guys are all be so glad you're here or at least watching it. And then, with no further introductions needed, we have Miss Pamela Demarsh as our guest speaker. Woo! Woohoo! Do you want to say where you're going to be playing anytime soon? You certainly can. Of course.
Why, thank you, Donna. No, Rex and I will continue to play all through August 24th. If you go to PamelaDemarche.com, I will be listing our August dates, but we'll be at Vintage 61 and Bar 365 and Rice and Taste and the Marriott and all around. So we hope to see you. And if you don't come, we're going to notice because I'm memorizing your faces.
She's taking names and kicking, you know.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome. Awesome. So let's start this service by settling in and getting ready for our spiritual practices. So if you're ready, go ahead and just settle where you are. If you're comfortable, close your eyes, lower your gaze, get comfortable wherever you are. And let's just check in with our body, taking deep breaths, feeling that precious air filling up those lungs, those healthy, healthy lungs. And continuing to take a deep breath and feeling that oxygen into your bloodstream, going to all parts of your body. And being grateful for your strength and your muscles and your bones and your tissues that support you every day. Just give it a little thank you, a little gratefulness. Continuing to breathe and be grateful for that brain that is working beautifully and easily. With all the thoughts and connections to the divine. And your heart that is beating the essence of the life of you. And beating with every beat, expressing love and connection to those around you. So let us start our spiritual practices. And it is my honor to introduce Beth Ambrose, who will light the world religion's candles from the Christ candle. In religious science, we perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. In lighting these candles, we honor the one family of humanity made up of over 4,000 religions and spiritual traditions throughout the world. We light the first candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The second candle is lit to honor all forms of Christianity, which teaches the Christ consciousness as the path of love. And we light the third candle for Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. As we light the fourth candle for Judaism, that honors the ethical path by living sacred law. And we light the fifth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. So let us quiet our mind and open our heart to the spiritual message being sung by Pamela Demarsh.
Make of our hands one hand. Make of our hearts one heart. Make of our
So let us pray. As we continue to settle into this beautiful sacred space that has been created. This is the place that we recognize that one powerful presence of God, that one mind, the one creator of all things, seen and unseen. That creator that I know I am connected to, I am one with, as God comes through me, in me, and as me, as an expression of spirit I am every day. And I know this same divine truth for each person listening to my voice right here, right now. As you are a perfect expression of spirit, as God surrounds you, comes through you and in you and as you. Beautiful, beautiful expression of spirit right here, right now. So I bless all of the hearts and hands that have come together to make this service possible, that they are expressing divinely, and God is coming through each of them to make this service perfect and whole. I also bless all of you that are listening to this service right here, right now, that your heart and mind are open to receiving the message that is being shared here today. And I say a special blessing for our guest speaker, Troy Olds, as he comes forth, setting aside his humanness, opening his mind, opening his heart, and allowing Spirit's message to come through him exactly as it is to be heard by us. So I bless the service, and it's oh so very good. So I call it good, and so very good. And so it is. So together we say, Namaste, Om, Shanti, Ashe, Aho, Amen, and so it is. And let's hear another round of applause for Pamela Demarsh.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you all today. We must always remember life can be a challenge. Life can seem impossible. It's never easy when so much is on the line. You can make a difference with courage. We can set things right. The gift to dream and make dreams real is yours and mine. The power of one begins with believing. It starts in the heart, flows through the soul, changes the world. Imagine how life can be when we stand in unity. Each of us holds the key to the power of one. Each of us is chosen. There's a mission
just for you. Just look inside, you'll realize what you can do. The power of one begins with believing. It starts in the heart, flows to the soul, changes the world. Imagine how life would be when we are one unity. Each of us holds the key to the power of one. Then one by one, we can make the world a much better place. The power of the world begins when it starts in the heart, flows to the soul, changes the world. Imagine how life would be when we stand in unity. Each of us holds the key. It's inside the beauty. Each of us holds the key to the power of the one. The power, oh yeah, the power of one.
Woohoo! Give it up for Pamela Demarsh. Woo!
Thank you so much.
Make her hear you from home.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yay.
I was going to say I'm a little emotional today, but I always get emotional, so I'm a little bit more emotional. So thank you.
It's a little more
Thank you for
special
understanding.
today. All right. So I'm about to introduce our guest speaker, but then I remembered that I did not go through who all the fabulous people are who brought this service together. I prayed for them, but I didn't announce them. So, obviously, practitioner of the day is me. Soundboard. So let's give him a round of applause at the end when I go through the whole list. Rob Compton on sound. Videographer in the back is Jenna Nash. Usher greeter, I'm sure you got a hug or at least a hello from Harold Whitman. Hospitality was set up by Darlene Gorstiza. And cleanup is Margie Strong. And Cosmic Cleaning Crew this week was JJ Bullock. Children's teacher is two people today. They're doing something special. Elizabeth and Kathy McLean. And then I did the e-blast this week. So, all right. Thank you all for the volunteer. And if you are, yes, let's give them a hand now. Yes. And if you are all called to do any of this volunteerism, please see Harold Whitman or any of the board members or any of the practitioners, Reverend Jackie. Go to office, email office@cslboise.org and go, I want to do this. And you will be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. All right, so are we ready to hear our guest speaker today? Yes, all right. So this fabulous man, his name is Troy Olds, is an independent coach who helps people get clarity around what they really want in life and shows them how to develop a plan to achieve it. He works as a business results specialist at Tony Robbins Companies and is a certified gender intelligent Mars-Venus coach by John Gray. I don't know what that is. I hope he explains that. But he is 19 years active in a 12-step recovery program and is dedicated to becoming the best version of himself while helping others and as many people as he can while he's on this planet. And he's been practicing the science of mind since 2003. So let's give Troy Olds a big round of applause. Woo-hoo!
Testing, testing. What's shaking, everybody? How's everybody doing? Beautiful. I am incredibly honored to get to speak and share with you guys today. Reverend Jackie's become a really dear friend of mine. Two things have saved my life: the 12 steps in recovery and the science of mind. So yeah. What I want to first get clear, is it okay if we get kind of real and raw? I don't know where this is going to, I've got an outline, but I don't know where it's going to go. But I've got some good stuff for you. Is that fair enough? Beautiful. Well, what I'd like to do is, through this process, is share some of the information that has been taught to me, some of the processes that were taught to me that have taken me from a life of despair, sadness, pain, grief, and put me into a place where I now get to live and work wherever I want in the world. I have the woman of my dreams in my life. We use the science of mind for that one. So I literally wrote out, this is exactly what I want in a woman. And then I sent it off to the law, to God, and said, you handle it, and went back to work. And literally within a week, I get a message on Messenger and says, you're in Idaho? So I went to Lori's Facebook page, because we've known each other for over 20 years, and I messaged back, you're single? So coffee date went to sushi date really, really quick. And what I now know is, and what I knew that night is, as she walked up and sat next to me in that restaurant, the frequency was there. Hi, Mary Jane. Everybody say hi to Mary Jane, a friend of mine for a long time. And the frequency just felt like home. And so we've since become engaged and soon to be married. Woo-woo! But that is really the story of my life. To give you kind of a little bit of a backstory, the place I felt the most safe and at home is when I was 3 or 4 years old on 5 acres in an alfalfa field. And I would stomp down the alfalfa when it was about this high, and I'd stomp it down. And I would be in my little house, my fort. And there would be the blue sky, and there would be the clouds and the ladybugs and the grasshoppers. And they were my friends. Like, they were legitimately my friends. Like, we were connected, right? And blissful place. And what I remember this feeling. I didn't know how to put words to it then, but the feeling was, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. And then I went to kindergarten, and I had red hair and freckles, and people noticed that, and I wore the wrong colored tough skins, and life was hard around other people, so I got to understand that this was going to be a journey. Again, I didn't know this until later in life, and I came back through the science of mind, through the steps, through interacting with other people, that's why I showed up here. I showed up here to level up my consciousness, to elevate myself from the last lifetime, if there was a last lifetime. I personally believe there have been many. And so everybody that we meet, every experience that we have is part of that script so that we can ascend our soul, right? And so when I look at my past experiences of family divorce, when I look at the fact that I had no clue how to be a dad, how to be a husband, and how to keep the lights on all at once. That was just overwhelming, because every day I would wake up, I would put on a mask of, is this the dad mask? Is this the people mask? Is this the work mask? And life was truly exhausting. And when you don't have the roadmap or the recipe to live a good life, it gets painful. And so what I did is, instead of reaching for spirituality, I reached for dry goods. We were just talking about dry goods, booze and dry goods. And that was an instant solution. So I ran that because it worked, baby. It worked for a while. And so I'm that guy that I'm all in, man. If I'm like something, I'm going all in. And so I went all in, and I found myself in a recovery center in 2003. And when I was on my way down, I thought, maybe I got a problem. As my dad's driving me, I'm pulling apart the remote control to the garage door. They're listening to us. They're listening to us. I might have a problem. And so I was a non-functioning guy, right? And the most amazing thing that happened is I was introduced to the 12 steps. And that began to open my eyes again to the fundamentalist Christian upbringing that I had. which in some ways was beautiful, but in some ways just didn't resonate. I couldn't ask any questions. How did Jonah live in the whale? How did Jesus walk on water? Shut up and sit down was the canned response, right? So that was my early upbringing. So the 12 steps said a God of my understanding, or I would say a God of my misunderstandings. I didn't know. We can't hold the ocean of the world in the teacup of our mind, right? And so I got a therapist, and this is my story into the science of mind. Her name was Sarah Donnesley. Anybody remember Sarah Donnesley? Woo-woo! Give it up for Sarah. What an amazing, amazing soul. I saw her 2 hours a week, 1 hour in personal therapy, another hour in marriage counseling, and 4 hours in, it was like a recovery group. So I saw a lot of this lady. She became my friend. And she started giving me books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. She started giving me The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer, right? And she's the one who really turned me on to the metaphysical aspect of life. And so she didn't want to cross lines, but finally it's like, where do you go? Where do you get your spiritual food? And she finally told me, I go to the Center for Spiritual Living. At that point, it was Science of Mind. And so I showed up here, and I met a guy named Reverend George. Anybody know Reverend George? Give it up for Reverend George. Reverend George, at that time in my life, as you can imagine, having burned my life down, just coming out of recovery center and was just getting things back on track. I was taking the foundations course, right? Just learning, and I was beat up, was not living at my home. I was living in a studio apartment. My wife and my kids are at home. I had just tore it up. So I felt really bad. But I'm in this class one day, and Reverend George goes, Troy, what's going on? And I said, I just don't feel worthy. I'm not going to get this. And he leaned in, and he goes, Troy, I love you. I wish you were my son. Right? I wish you were my son. And people, that's the mind treatment right there, you guys. Because I tell you what, when I was going forward, going through the lessons of my life, I would hear his voice in my head, I love you. I wish you were my son. Right? So if I might get a little bit emotional here, because this is an emotional journey, right? And so, should I get back on, or get on script here? I had to rebuild my life, and I truly believe that we were made for this, you guys. I believe that with all that's gone over the past 2 years, all the challenges, all the fear, all the, literally it's just an upside down world. When I was in that field, when I was 3 or 4, this is what I came for. This is why we're here. And we of the science of mind understand the full responsibility that we have the ability to change, and it starts with us. I used to think, I'm going to change the world. Well, that was my ego, right? I wanted everybody to, I'm going to change the world. And I understood and was taught, no, man, save yourself and you save the world. Change your own life and you change the world. And so that's really what this talk is about today, is we are responsible for our lives. There's nothing outside of us that we cannot change simply by changing our mind and the way we look at it. When we change the way we look at things, the things that we look at change. It's magic. It's magic. So with this, I got a little Mr. Rogers quote here for you. Who likes Mr. Rogers? Who grew up on Mr. Rogers? I was a Starsky and Hutch, hee-haw generation kid, and Mr. Rogers. But in his book, he talks about when he was a little kid, he's watching TV or listening to the radio, and there would be wars going on, and there would be all this negative stuff. And his mother would say, look for the helpers. You'll always find people helping, right? In times of chaos, in times of war, in times of pandemic, look for the helpers. There are always people helping. And so what I've chosen after really just fishing and dragnetting the pond of life for myself, for my ego, right now I'm stocking the pond. I'm stocking the pond now because now it's not about me, it's about us, right? And that's one of the most amazing realizations that in my adult life is we need each other. and we are connected in deep, deep ways. We are so connected. And I've seen that in meditation, and I won't go deeply into this, but I've sat in jungles with shaman with their magical cup. And I've seen things, and I've been shown things that it is really boils down to fear or love. It's fear or love. Fear will take your life. Thank you. Thank you. And so I choose love. And so there's the Mr. Rogers quote that really resonated with me, is he was a contribution to the world. And in 2006, I was at a conference, and I wanted to create my life mission. And it is to intentionally co-create in Christ consciousness-inspired work that positively contributes to the world. And that is my motive. That if I have an agenda, that's it. And on a daily basis, I've got to put myself and my ego aside and say, let work through me, let's do this, whatever that may be. So, how's it going so far, guys? Are we all right? All right. Reverend Jackie, thumbs up? All right. So now we're going to go into the PowerPoint. So I'm used to doing workshops and training, and so I kind of put together a combination of that for you guys tonight. So number one, how to create your life and the 3 secrets. So I want to remind myself, and you get to listen in, that my life is a culmination of my thoughts, the chronic thoughts and the feelings that I have, right? And we are being bombarded right now by a manufactured media that is only showing you a sliver slice of a manufactured reality, because there is infinite realities, right? And it is a tool for control, and it's working for a lot of folks. And so I stand up and I say, what we resist persists, so I'm not against that. I am for speaking more truth into the world, that we are powerful beyond measure, and that we have tools to live a life of our creation. So the thing that, if you guys, can you imagine like a giant, you know Alaska, right? Have you seen pictures of Alaska, some of the beautiful landscapes? This is where we're going to get a little bit raw and maybe a little bit raunchy, okay? So imagine a giant tapestry of Mount McKinley and some trees right here, right? And the rivers, beautiful sky, and there are some sled dogs, right? And they're going that way. They're going that way, right? So you're looking at the back of these dogs. What the news is showing you is just a little piece of that tapestry. So imagine if there's a sled dog, and we're looking at him from behind, the news is going, that's reality. Are you getting my metaphor here? That's reality. There's so much more to this life, and it's not about when this happens, then I'll be. It's about right now making the decision to live a life worth living. So with that said, I found a really cool video about frequency and vibration. So Nikola Tesla, the guy that was silenced and put on, basically erased from history, because he found the law, he understood the law, and he was tapping into the law. And most of the technology that we utilize today came from the brain of Nikola Tesla, which was just a transmitter. He was receiving that from all that is, right? And so he says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, right? So we attract what we are based on our thinking, not what we want to be. So the life that we're in, the relationships we're in, we have created based on our frequency. So this video, the slide 3, please. See if we can get this. This is freaking cool. I love stuff like this. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So we've all walked into the room and there's somebody that, like Lori, is like, oh, this is home. That frequency is the same. When she told me that she does coffee enemas and has a colonic board and she does tinctures, I'm like, oh my God, this is my future wife. Right? This is a woman who is into healing, right? Healing. And if you want to know about those, you can talk to me after. And we also know those people that we walk into a room and there's this dissonance. It's not an attraction. And I've just practiced, it's better to be alone than around the wrong people. Not bad people, different frequencies, because they will take it, right? The challenge is that is such a real thing, that we all have these magnetic fields around us and we are sharing energy. So if you have been doing your prayer, meditation, you're studying, you're doing the work, and you're feeling joy, and you're around somebody who is plugged into the news or they're resentful and angry, and then it's just like two cups. Like, here's you, and there's their cup, but it's half full, and there's a tube. What has to happen? It has to happen. It goes like this. Guess what happens? They go and go, man, I hung out with Rex, I feel great. And you go home and go, oh my God, I gotta take a shower, I gotta do the breath work, right? So here's the deal. The mind has them too. They're not our responsibility. They're on their journey. They're playing out their script. Let them do them and we do us, right? And so, if y'all have cool. It's the kindest thing we can do. If there's a relationship that is just not working, man, and you all know, maybe you've had those in your life, the kindest thing is just stop spending quantity amounts of time with them. That's it. Make sense? Okay. So those fields are real. Those torus fields, we create those as we do breath work and meditation. That creates energy. And we're going to go into what that does. That activates our pineal gland, which actually is our gateway into the infinite. And so what Nikola Tesla was doing is he had techniques, and these are ancient techniques, to move energy up into the pineal gland, blast that open, and boom, the visions occur. The downloads happen, right? So we're going to get into that today. So there's that slide. Next slide, please. This is from David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. And so when we talk about frequency and energy, we look at the scale. Right in the middle, above the line is courage at 200. Right below the line is pride at 175, okay? Anything above the line is life-giving. Anything below the line is taking life. It's just the way it is, okay? So as we ascend up that list, courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. They say that the Christ, the Buddha, other avatars that are on the planet, they're vibrating into between 700 and 1,000, right? So these are individuals who can impact positively with their frequency, thousands of individuals. Anything below that line, we got to clean up. We got to work on. We do that through prayer and meditation, affirmative prayer, okay? So I want to share with you just a fun video. Hopefully you like it and you laugh. This video is from Terrence McKenna. It was a talk he did, and he's talking about the electronic media, and I'll just let him do the rest.
Catalysts to say what has never been said, to see what has never been seen, to draw, paint, sing, sculpt, dance, and act what has never before been done, to push the envelope of creativity and language. And what's really important is, I call it the felt presence of direct experience, which is a fancy term which just simply means we have to stop consuming our culture. We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR. Create your own road show. The nexus of space and time where you are now is the most immediate sector of your universe. And if you're worrying about Michael Jackson or Bill Clinton or somebody else, then you are disempowered. You're giving it all away to icons. Icons which are maintained by an electronic media, so that you want to dress like X or have lips like Y or something. This is shit-brained, this kind of thinking. That is all cultural diversion. And what is real is you and your friends and your associations, your highs, your orgasms, your hopes, your plans, your fears. And we're told, no, we're unimportant, we're peripheral, get a degree, get a job, get a this, get a that, and then you're a player. You don't even want to play in that game. You want to reclaim your mind and get it out of the hands of the cultural engineers who want to turn you into a half-baked moron consuming all this trash that's being manufactured out of the bones of a dying world. Where is that at?
Clap for Terrence. Right. Yes. I love that. I love Terrence. I love what he stood for, and I just love that message because I see on a daily basis, and sometimes I participate and I jump in, and it just snags me. It's like a hook line, and boom! All of a sudden, I'm going down that line. But I need to listen to Russell Brand because he's funny and gives the news. Bullshit. Pardon me. It's dangerous. It goes below the line. It goes below the line. And so literally we are harming ourselves. So anybody who wants that, feel free. I'll give the links, this whole thing to Jackie, and you guys can go through this. So the next slide, please. We become what we think about. Well, that's the science of mind, baby, right? We become what we think about. We feel, move toward, and become what we think about. So this is literally, I think this is one of the big ahas for me, is that whenever I think of something, there's going to be a meaning behind it, and everybody has a different meaning based on their history. And some people might see something and go, oh, that's lovely, and it feels good, and it gives off really great endorphins and growth hormones. Somebody else might look at the very same thing, and because of their history, it's like traumatized, and now all of a sudden they're being hurt, they're harming, right? So we get to choose what we focus on, because we're going to feel whatever we look at, whatever we focus on, right? And we're also going to move toward, as we saw in the frequency video. We're going to attract those. So the question that I have for myself, after I share Emerson said, the ancestor of every action is a thought. And then I went to the Bible for this one, Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Pretty good recipe right there. Look at the beauty. Read the people who are the artists are the saviors of the world, James Allen, right? Give it up for our musicians. It's true, because in those places of creation, they are co-creating with a higher force. And so when we listen to that, we're being fed. When we read, I carry books after I watched Power of Intention. I carry Power versus Force and all these other high-frequency books, because I know that those books they're like battery packs. They're packing frequency, baby. So when I sat down yesterday to cruise through this, I stacked up the books around me, man. I'm putting them on my head, because I want that frequency. And I'm listening to Rob Ricardo, and I'm listening to these great frequency music, because I want to be in that co-creative space as well. And I did my meditation, and I called in for help, because I know how to do that now. I called reinforcements. I sat and I did my breath work. I moved my energy up. I blasted open my pineal gland. And guess what happened? The angels descended. This is my world. This is my world. This is my reality. The angels descended, and they helped me create this. Amazing. I want to tell you something before we move forward. And please, if I'm getting out of time, you guys, please let me know, because I can speed it up. But I used to pray to a big daddy in the sky. And when I was in the 3rd grade, my family had broken up. I was in a home that was painful, scary, and alone. And so I would lay in my bed and I would pray my little ass off. I'm going with it. I'd pray my little ass off. God, please, come please. Just help me. And most of the time, God would show up. And I would have this, oh, thank you. And I would cry, right? So I was taught later through a mentor how to go in and do this work that I'd love to teach you, of blasting open that pineal gland, cleaning up past trauma, forgiveness, all that work. And so I'm just sitting in this zenned out space, man, swimming around in the no time, no space zone. And all of a sudden, pop, I'm in my 3rd grade house. Like, what the? So here I am, and I could feel the walls on my fingertips. I could see the pictures on the wall. I was there. And I walked down the hall, and I saw my bedroom, and I looked in, and I saw my little 3rd grade self praying my little butt off. And I was like, oh. So I walked over to myself, and I put my hand on my chest, and my 3rd grade self started crying. Oh, thank you. Can you really wrap your mind around that? Because that blew my mind, right? There was a thought that, oh, shit, I'm going to hell. Because I thought that God that was touching my chest when I was a child was my future self coming back and being with me. Right? I called my mentor and I said, this just happened. He says, it kind of messes with your sense of time now, don't it, Troy? I'm like, yeah, sense of time? Like, everything's changed for me. So that was one of the processes that was a defining moment in my life. And I've got many, many, many stories about that, you guys. So choose good books, choose good friends, choose good mentors, choose your thoughts. I want you guys to do a little experiment with me. Are you guys cool with that? Jackie, how are we doing on time? Okay. So what I'd like you guys to do, okay. Well, we'll be out of here at 8 o'clock. So if you guys would entertain this and the power of the mind, take a big deep breath and close your eyes. We're going to do a visualization technique. Now imagine you're in your kitchen and you go to your refrigerator and you open the refrigerator, you open the crisper, and you pull out a lemon. Beautiful, yellow, ripe lemon. Now I want you to hold that lemon in your hand. You can roll it around. You feel the dimples on its skin. It's kind of a waxy cover. Feel that? Now take that lemon and go over to your cutting board and grab a knife out of your chopping block. And I want you to cut open that lemon, and I want you to feel as the knife pushes through that lemon. Okay. You see the juice filling around on the cutting board. Now put the knife down, pick up a half of that lemon, bring it to your nose and smell it. Can you smell that citrusy fragrance? Right. Now I want you to put it close to your mouth, and I want you to sink your teeth into that lemon. Okay, now you can open your eyes. Did anybody have an experience, a physical experience? Who has a physical experience from that visualization? What happened? Your mouth start to water? Your mouth started to water, right? Whatever we focus on, we feel. Whatever we visualize, whatever it happened in the past, whatever we chronically imagine in the future, and whatever is happening, our body, our unconscious does not know the difference. It's real, right? So imagine if you got that response from a lemon, imagine something below that line that you're chronically focused on. What that's doing to our physical body, right? Come on. We've got to love ourselves, right? And the first way we love ourselves is to become responsible. I am responsible for my life now. Right now, exclamation point. And then we do the work, and it's work. I like to call it a dance. So that is okay, so we're going to move on. We're about ready to wrap up, you guys. This is where I think I get geeky, and I think it's really, really fun. So next slide, please, Rob. Mental rehearsal. So some call it meditation, visualization. I think it's mental rehearsal is what Joe Dispenza calls it. The book Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza, I highly recommend that. He gives you the tools and techniques to do what we're going to talk about here. And there's what is a dance? What does a prayer look like? This is a true story. I'm going to totally paraphrase it. But a guy is working with a shaman, and he wants to know how the shaman does a rain dance. And so the shaman finally calls this guy and says, I'm going to do a rain dance today, like a legitimate rain dance, so it'll rain. And I think this is in Arizona. And so he picked up this guy, and he and the shaman went to the top of this mountain. They hiked up, and you know the movies, right? They don't get it right. So this shaman, he goes to the top of the mountain. He says, sit back there and watch. And the shaman, he goes, he just put his arms out. And he started to smile. And he just stood like this for about 5 minutes. And he goes, okay, let's go. And the guy goes, what are you doing? Well, I thought you were going to rain dance. He says, I did rain dance. He said, when I sat back, I put my arms out, I felt the dry ground beneath my feet. I smelt the rain in the clouds that were billowing over the horizon. I felt the clouds come over and it get cool and misty, and I felt the rain dropping on my face. I felt the dry ground turn to mud. He says, I saw the crops growing. I saw the kids playing in the rain. He says, that's a rain dance. That's a rain dance. Give it up for the rain dance. All right. Now we're going to wrap it up. So, Rob, next slide, please, brother. So this is so fascinating to me. A few years ago, when I started learning about the pineal gland, and I went back and I realized that everybody seen that image on the right? Who's that? What culture is that from? Yeah, it's Egyptian, right? What's that image on the left? That's a brain. That's a brain. Isn't it interesting how that inside looks much like the eye of Horus? Right? Okay. Next slide, please, Rob. There's another example. So you got the eye of Horus, and you got this description of the encasing and the pineal gland in the brain. I wonder why. Next slide, please. Now, when we look at that slide, we start seeing that the Anunnaki, the Sumerians, the Pope, that little staff that they use in medicine has all got a what? A pine cone. Now, I didn't connect these dots. The pineal gland is represented as a pine cone in antiquity. So you can Google this stuff, go do the research. So the pine cone has some significance. So when you see these pictures of a pine cone on the top, there's got to be some power there, right? Because we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And most people, myself included in the past, and now I choose to be both above and below, are in the physical body. The access out is through that pineal gland. Breath work, meditation, kundalini, pranayama. Those are the ways to access the infinite. All that ever has been, ever will be, already exists, the Akashic records, the book of life, whatever you want to call it. Right? So, next slide, please, Rob. The Caduceus. I don't think the next slide, the picture showed up, but it's the cover of Joe Dispenza's book. He's got the coolest picture of the Caduceus. Show up? No. So, the Caduceus is that medical symbol, right? That medical symbol comes from Hermes. And so, a side note, maybe write this down, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Sounds mystical. It was. It is. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Carl Jung was a subscriber, participant in that. It is all things mystic. It is all things getting into the pineal gland, blasting out, and going into that quantum space where all things are possible. Okay, next slide, please. These are the energy centers. Ultimately, you've got your chakras. The way to move from root chakra to that crown chakra, the crown chakra is that pineal gland, right? So when you meditate and you breathe, you're actually moving cerebral fluid up into the top of your brain and vibrating that pineal gland. Most people today, their pineal gland is calcified because of processed food, because of what's in the water, and they have no access. And then they say, why doesn't this work? Why isn't this working? Well, you got to do some work to clean that stuff up, right? And there's information on how to do that too. So Next slide, please. This one's awesome. Can you turn this one up, Rob? Oh, this is the Doctor Strange. And we're about done. Are you guys enjoying this? Okay, cool.
My ticket, and you're talking to me about healing through belief.
You're a man looking at the world through a keyhole, and you've spent your whole life trying to widen that keyhole, to see more, to know more. And now, on hearing that it can be widened in ways you can't imagine, you reject the possibility.
No, I reject it because I do not believe in fairy tales about chakras or energy or the power of belief. There is no such thing as spirit. We are made of matter and nothing more. You're just another tiny, momentary speck within an indifferent universe.
You think too little of yourself.
Oh, you think you see through me, do you? Well, you don't. But I see through you!
Do to me?
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
It's just tea. With a little honey.
With a little honey. With a little honey. All right, so we're wrapping it up here, you guys. I really do, just so I know, has this been cool and helpful? Right on, right on. I love you guys. I love this, the center, and I love being a contribution. You know, I now know that I only pull from the past if it's going to be helpful to others, because if I think about the past, the frequency goes out and I get more of the past. So I stay in my full present and I consciously create my future, right? And so just to be here is such a blessing and a gift. So I believe, you know, Neil Diamond's Brother Loves Travel and Salvation Show, one of my favorite songs ever. I love that. I believe that everyone in this room is a contrarian, right? You are not part of the status quo. You busted out of a mind program and you showed up here, right? And from where I came from, that meant I was going to get a couple of extra twists on the rotisserie of hell. So it was a big choice. But truth is truth. The journey's the journey. It's my journey, right? So congratulations, you guys think different. So this is a cool video that came out a long time ago, but it still inspires the heck out of me, because I believe everyone sitting in this room, everyone in these seats is this person. Every image you see on this wall is you in just another form. Different video.
I will fight.
But this is where we're going to wrap it up, you guys. Enjoy the song. It's okay. We're going to wrap it up right now, and go ahead and keep playing, brother. That's beautiful. But before I go, clap for Troy.
I will fight. I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue. And I will stay with you. We'll make it to the other side like lovers do. I will fight for you. I always knew until my heart is black and blue. Yeah! No, did everybody cry? I apologize. God, this song with kids singing it is like...
Guys! I want to hear what you're saying. I think you might want to also. You guys broke...
So let's give Troy a big round of applause and woo, show our appreciation. Woo! Woo! So how about if we vibrate our perineal gland and let's do a little bit of prayer, because that's where we're going next. So, in this beautiful space, that Troy has created, opening our chakras and our brain and understanding why all that works and our vibration. In this space is where we connect with the divine, connecting to that one and recognizing that one powerful presence that we call God. It's in the sunrise, and God is in the sunset, and we know God is the beauty, the love, the peace, the joy, the happiness, and that vibration is where we find God. And I know right where I am that this God is, as it vibrates through me. I am this expression of God vibrating in this earth. And I know this same divine truth for each person right here, right now, as we are all divine expressions vibrating as spirit, as God comes through us, in us, and as us. Our vibration is just radiating through the world. People close to us, people around us, people in our community and in the world. And it's this positive energy that we send out for these prayer requests, for what's happening in our world that we don't understand, but we send this peace to the mass shooting that happened in Florida. We send it with peace. We see the helpers that are helping in that situation. And the flooding in Kentucky, again, sending that peace, sending those helpers, sending God in those situations, and opening our heart and our vibration to sending that to those people. And also saying a peaceful prayer for Judith Moore, who's in LA right now but was taken off of the ventilator yesterday. And she is breathing on her own. And we're sending peaceful vibrations for her body temple to be strong and to continue to get stronger. We also say a word for Ed Kuklinski and Joe Hughes as they are changing their place that they live. So they are offering up their homes for sale, and their heart and their minds are open and blessing their dwellings so that the next right person for peace and love will take that home and purchase that home and continue those joyous, loving memories in their house, in their home, in their dwelling. And we say a special word for our beloved Pamela Demarsh as she is preparing herself and her life for her transition to her next place in North Carolina. That trip and that whole process goes smoothly and easily as her love and light continues to shine no matter where she is in this country or in this world, that her light and her voice continues to vibrate so far and so wide, no matter where she physically is. And also blessing all of those who have asked for prayer for the body temple, that your bodies are strong and the revealing light of spirit is happening right here, right now. That healing is revealed and that strength is here right now for you. And all that need the healing touch, that are in pain, emotional pain, that love, they are surrounded by that love of God, love of friends, love of other people, that we embrace them. And they are finding exactly what it is that they need right here and right now, that God is revealing that truth to them. And it is done. It is already done. That they feel that love and surrounding of peacefulness. So I am deeply, with a grateful heart, so deeply grateful for knowing this truth and knowing this word. For I let go and let God, for I know it is already done in the eyes of God. This word is done, and I release it and let go. So I call it good, and so, so very good. And so it is. Amen. All right. Take a deep breath. And if you're comfortable, just turn to someone and say, I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. So glad you're here in person and on camera. Whew. Okay. So as we continue with the, as we start to go into conscious giving, have just a few announcements. So the Awakening Wednesday is happening this Wednesday, August 3rd, and it'll be with Kundalini Yoga at 5:30, and then Shadi will have his oneness food that you can have at 6:30. That will be served, and then at 7 we have our guest speaker. So would you like to come up for just a moment? And it's Reverend Kathy Benz. So let's give her a hand.
I'd like to invite you guys to join us on Wednesday night. I have been a spiritual teacher and a healer, coach, and a mentor for about 25 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. Oh, hi. Here I am. So Wednesday night, we're going to be doing a talk on how to maintain your peace in a tumultuous times. And so as we know, there's a lot of changes on the planet. And I love Troy Old's speech today, because he really tapped into some of the same concepts that we're going to be working with on Wednesday night. So my special gift is being able to help people find those frequencies of love and peace, enthusiasm, and joy within themselves. And we're going to be working on tapping into that frequency of peace, really feeling it and experiencing it in our minds and our bodies. And when we do that, we'll be able to share that not only personally, but interpersonally with the people who are joining us on Wednesday night. We're going to be able to share that peace frequency transpersonally offering it to the collective consciousness. If you come on Wednesday night, I'm going to be offering everybody a free gift of my short course on spiritual tools, where you'll get training on how to ground, how to find your cosmic and earth energy, and everybody will be receiving Archangel Michael blessings. So we'll be working with the archangels, we'll be meditating, and we'll be playing. It's going to be a really fun time. So I invite you to come join me. I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you guys. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Great. Thank you, Reverend Kathy. So, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is what I said. And, okay, so I would like to have Pamela Demarsh come up for just a second, because she is moving to North Carolina, correct? Charlotte? Ooh, how fun. Okay. And she is just an utmost professional. We are so happy that you have graced us with your presence over the last however many years, and you have just been a true blessing to us. Woohoo! And we are just so glad that you have been here with us. So let us put out our hands and bless her, that we see you.
Thank
we
you so
love
much.
you.
I love you.
And we bless you. And we will miss you tremendously.
I will carry
Love
you
you.
all in my heart. Oh,
So it is.
Thank you. Oh, I can feel your vibration.
Yes. No matter where you are, you'll still feel it. And we will feel yours.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Thank you. I was just finally kind of getting it together. Troy was so wonderful and shared so much of himself. God bless you. Thank you so much. That was incredible. So I finally got it together, and now the flowers, so I'm a mess.
Tear it all
Thank you
apart
so
again.
much. Thank you, Reverend Jackie. Thank you, everybody. I love you.
Yes,
love you, love you, love you. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bless you. Bless you.
It's one thing we didn't do is set up tissues for everyone, because it's definitely one of those days. So thank you, Pamela. All right. So this is our conscious giving time. So before we get into that, I wanted just to let you know, as we did prayer and as we have that vibration, that we do offer prayer here at CSL. So if you take this prayer request that's in front of you, you can fill this out and put this in the collection basket, or in the back there's a prayer box, and it is confidential. And our prayer team will pray on that for the next 30 days. And if you're online, you can go to prayers at cslboise.org and submit a prayer that way. We also have a prayer line that you can call and leave a message, and it's 208-375-0791. And you can also go to our website at cslboise.org and get the list of practitioners, and it has the phone number, and you can call any of our practitioners and request prayer that way as well, because we know that prayer does work. And obviously now we know why, based on Troy's speech, his talk. So now is conscious giving time. So this is where we have this time to give back to Spirit for all the great things that we have been blessed with in our lives, and also allows us to participate in that law of reciprocation, reciprocity. There you go. Whatever the word is, you understand. It's a circle. You can't give from a closed hand. It stops that process. You have to give from an open hand. That's why we call this conscious giving and not tithing, because it's not a have to, it's a get to. And all the monies that come in, yes, we get to keep the lights on, we get to keep the air on, thank goodness, in this 105-degree heat. But we also give back to the community. It continues to allow us to continue the ministries that we do here at CSL. It also allows us to give back to the community. We take 5% of everything that comes in and gives it to a 503c here in the community that, ministers to the people here that are here local. So that is what we do with all the money. And if there's many ways to give, you can do cash, you can do check, you can do a text And that text number is 208-782-4202. You can also go to cslboise.org and click on the giving link, and you can do it that way. So there's lots of different ways that you can share your gifts. And you also can do estate planning and will as well. So here are all the checks that did come in. So we bless this and we say thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you want to take your gift and your offering in your hand, put it to your heart, and together we say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am and all that I circulate. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, Pamela Demarsh. Woo!
Thank you so much. After Troy's wonderful talk, I'm changing the lyrics in my head, but you guys just do what you do so beautifully. Please.
I feel your sweet vibration. I feel it here in my mind every hour of the day. And with your sweet inspiration, love will fill our hearts and souls in a million ways. And the sweet inspiration, that's all I ask of you. And with your sweet vibration, there's no limitation to God's good work we can do. It's good.
you. God bless y'all. Thank you so much. You've blessed my life. Thank you.
All right. Woo! Woo! Woohoo! So, you're already standing, and I hope you're standing at home and receive your blessing. So you want to be the light, you want to see the light, and you want to share your light with all that you see this week. And so it is. And amen. And I will be in the prayer room for prayers after church.